Humanity Matters.
Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm your host of Unmasked, Unfiltered, and Unapologetic. This podcast is a production of the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center of Nassau County. On today's episode, I am very excited to have Michelle Ahdoot from NGO Hatred and Ghazal Mizrahi. And they're going to be joining me for a conversation. And let's begin. Let's jump right into it. So, Michelle, for our listeners, I think most of them at this point know all about NGO Hatred. But just for those that may not and are first tuning in right now, can you just give us a little background about NGO Hatred?
Absolutely. So essentially, NGO Hatred is a Jewish civil rights movement, the same way that many minority rights, have movements to ensure that their rights are upheld. That's what we're here for. And obviously, it also transcends Jewish civil rights. Many times we see that it really is a fight to unite against extremism in all forms. But, specifically, we're here out on the streets, digitally with campaigns, ensuring that Jewish civil rights are upheld.
So, first of all, I want to thank you for all of your incredible work and your activism.
Likewise.
We work together, unfortunately, far too often. And I'm very honored to call both of you dear friends. And we're so honored that you're here today. And there's so much for us to discuss. But I think today we want to focus on a very hot issue, which is about Huda and what's happening. So if you want to give us, I think it's important for listeners, some that might know what's going on today and some that might not, a little background, because this is not something that began with Huda now with the Iranian regime. This is something that you had called out, both of you have called out quite a while ago. And I think it's important for people, and also with everything that's going on, some of us might even have forgotten her hatred and her horrible intentions and words started quite a long time ago. So can you go back to when you first started your activism and made people aware and the community aware about what she was doing?
So specifically with Huda Katan, for anybody that doesn't know, has a very, very profitable makeup business, extremely so. I don't know the exact, let's say, gross profits, but let's just say, suffice to say, a lot.
Yeah.
And Sephora, who we all know, especially myself as a mom of 3 girls, knows Sephora quite well and knows that many people flock to Huda's products. So what's the issue here? Huda Katan, who I now term Huda the Hater, is truly a horrific, vile human being. And this is nothing new. Yesterday, what transpired, that she essentially reposted a video, including other things.
You know what?
Should we get to that?
Let's start. I would say let's start farther back. Let's start. I think it was back in September.
Yes.
Okay. Because you really, I did not really know anything about it back in September, and you really, and NGO Hatred, and you really, both of you really kind of shed light on what was happening. Let's start with that.
NGO Hatred, along with our amazing other activists, Ghazal, Andrew Zeidman, amazing people, brought the fact, and a lot of influencers also, God bless the good ones on social media, brought to fact and light a video of Huda going on a anti-Semitic conspiracy theory rant regarding Jews, regarding the fact that Israel was to blame for World War I, World War II, which, anyone that knows that is just beyond false, and there wasn't, that Israel didn't even exist.
Right.
But let's not even go there.
Seem to matter,
but Bali, the point is that her platform is huge. She has millions of followers, and this fight that we've been fighting pre-10/7, post-10/7, so much of it is predicated on those people that just don't know better. And when you don't have baseline knowledge of right, wrong, fact, lie, truth, fiction, you're going to believe whatever you see, and you'll especially believe it from a pretty influencer, product owner, businesswoman that you follow on Instagram.
Right. So like here at hmTV, what we try and teach, not only obviously adults as well, but the thousands of students that come in here, is propaganda from the Holocaust. While it might seem like, so far away, one, it wasn't that long ago.
Absolutely.
And two, what's happening today, it's same but different, same face.
100%.
The propaganda that's happening today is the same that happened. It was not, Holocaust didn't start with Hitler coming into power. It was what happened before, right?
No,
How did he get into power? And I think that what we're seeing, and thank goodness we have people like both of you speaking out, is that they have these huge platforms like Huda, and she's using it to spread lies. I mean, anyone that knows basic history would say, well, who's going to take her seriously?
And Bali,
because obviously it's not true.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, a lot of people do.
A lot. And it was a rant. And what is the issue? When someone goes on a rant and isn't called out, that's where the real danger occurs. And that's where we wanted to make sure that things weren't going to just sit and let the dust settle. That's not dust that can settle. So we got into gear. This is now going back months and months ago. We activated amazing people to show up strong, both on the ground, outside Sephora's flagship location. Ghazal, you can also speak to that day. We rallied. And, sometimes you need to be loud with diplomacy to get your point across. And that's what we were trying to do. That was coordinated with a digital campaign. So strong email campaigns written by fabulous letter writers at partner orgs that we work with, getting word to both the CEO of Sephora, always CCing elected officials that they also know the story, that Huda Katan is vile and she should be dropped. Her line should be dropped from Sephora.
Immediately.
So, Ghazal, if you want to talk about the day of the rally, because we saw allies come out as well. You see the bad, you see the good. We had people passing by booing, but we had people passing by cheering. So, by all means, I would love for you to also explain that day, and then we could come full circle to now.
I'm just going to interject for one quick moment. Your voice as an activist has been incredible. You make, your stance on, fighting for truth and justice has been incredible as well. And by the way, for those of you who haven't heard, Ghazal's voice is truly incredible because you are an international singer, and we're so lucky that you've joined us at some of our events. So thank you for all the beauty that you share.
Thank you, Bali. I'm always so honored to be here at the beautiful Holocaust Memorial Tolerance Center on Long Island. And we're gathered here today to share a really important message, and it's that we won't stand for anyone to take us down. And Huda has a huge platform. She has millions and millions, 57 million, I believe, to be exact, followers on Instagram. Wow. And with a platform that big, your words matter. They're detrimental because people who follow her, they admire her, they listen to her. And when she spreads false information like this, people are going to believe it and think it's true.
And like Michelle said, especially with so many of those followers as young minds.
Young minds.
So impressionable.
Impressionable, exactly.
So you were there the day back in September when you guys rallied outside of Sephora.
So we were there, Michelle Ahdoot, NGO Hatred, and Andrew Zeidman. We all helped put together a protest outside Sephora. Where, which Sephora was it?
The 34th Street
flagship location of Manhattan. And we were standing there demanding Sephora to take down her shelf, to remove her makeup. And, when it's something regarding Jews, the world doesn't really speak about it, unfortunately. And so we didn't really have that much support at the time. But now we stood there and we told the world, just watch and see, because she's not it's not just about the Jews.
It's never just about
Watch
the Jews.
how she's going to continue this.
Right.
Watch how it's going to become something even bigger. It doesn't stop here. And look how it unfolded.
I think, unfortunately in what we do, what we're constantly saying, and we're constantly trying to warn the world is what starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews. There's a reason why we all keep saying that so often, because when something starts where people are anti-Semitic, when they have such hatred, when they spread lies and propaganda and misinformation, that means that they have a problem with the Jewish values, which are really, they share the same American Jewish democratic values that we have here. So if somebody is spewing hate towards Jews or Israel, that means they're spewing hate towards American democratic values. So now we find ourselves today, fast forward, here we are today, to no surprise, just as you called it, right? Huda then, and I don't even enjoy giving her this platform, but it's important that we make people aware.
Yeah.
Here she is today. Do you want to fill us in a little bit on, round two of what she's brought to the table?
Yeah. Do you want to?
Okay, sure. Yes, essentially yesterday, Huda posted a video on socials, which included showing people burning a picture of Reza Pahlavi, who we all know is the crown prince, who his family represented the regime pre horrific, brutal Islamism and what has taken over Iran, who we all know represents democracy and democratic values. So, we see this video obviously going viral, as it should. Huda Katan then tried to backtrack, and it's almost comical what she tried to say. I mean, just think about the timeline here. She posts this video, the detriment, what that causes, and what that is saying, and what a slap in the face that is to the hundreds of thousands, millions of activists that are fighting and giving up their lives to fight for democracy in Iran. And as a side note, this is another example of how, yes, we're a Jewish civil rights movement, but we all unite against the threat of extremism. Just last week, we were together in New York City, rallying with many allies for a free Iran. So here we are, everything we're fighting for, this democratic life that we're hoping will flourish in Iran again. She's completely trampling on it. So to that, I say now she added to her resume as a Jew hater, yes, but now she's also an IRGC supporter.
Which was actually, I believe yesterday or today was labeled as the same level of terrorist organization as Hamas.
By EU, exactly. Yeah. So absolutely. So here we are now. Ghazal, go ahead.
So I think it's important to mention to the listeners that both Michelle and I are first generation Iranian Americans born here in America. Both our families had to escape the Islamic Revolution, and they went through some horrible, horrible things. And the reason I mention this is because when Huda Katan got on her Instagram story yesterday to share this little video with her fans, she said point blank, if you're not part of Iran and if you're not part of the country, then you have no right to speak about it. She said it's an internal issue.
Which is so crazy because literally the Iranian population, they've been risking their lives, to take a stand against this horrible regime. And they have been pleading for the world to help them. So to say that it's not our issue when tens of thousands of innocent people are being massacred, it is just insane how someone would possibly think that's the way
and
to
how there's Iranians that fled the revolution are now living not only in America, but all over the world because they didn't have freedom there. So very, very incorrect on her part. And also the fact that she said that and then went ahead and praised the regime, ridiculous. And the fact that she said that and she thought just a couple years ago that she could have such a big say in Israel and Gaza when she never stepped foot there. That was not her problem.
Right. So she felt that it was, so to backtrack for a moment, so she felt that now she's saying, well, we don't have a right to speak up for people that are being massacred, that are asking for us to speak up for their voices. And for both of you, you're the perfect examples who, your families had to escape Iran. And now if anyone is going to speak up, yes, of course you are, as well as the rest of the world should. Right. And then it's interesting how, you say, basically when Israel was going through the attack, from Hamas on October 7th, that she was very, very comfortable in speaking up and giving her opinions based on lies and propaganda.
Right. So listen, it's
all pretty clear.
It's crystal clear to us. We want to ensure that it's crystal clear to the world. So now what we've seen since yesterday is a whole new level of outrage. So now we look at this, and on one hand, it's disheartening as a civil rights Jewish movement and as Jews. It's disheartening that when we were sounding the alarm and screaming, from the streets and from everywhere, we didn't see as much outrage there was a lot of silence from the community en masse. But now, given this Iran situation and what she did yesterday, she really dug a hole for herself. Yeah. We're seeing a lot of outrage from new allies, is the way that I would like to call it. And now's the time to really ensure that Sephora takes action.
So I guess the question is, what can the average person do, right? Because at the end of the day, our job is to inform people, which we're doing here right now. And NGO Hatred does a great job. And as activists, all of you in the room are constantly doing a great job. And the question is, and I know, Michelle, that people, come on, sign on to NGO Hatred, they become partners with Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center, and they want to know, what can I do?
So very simply put, look, just like we always say, everyone's an activist in their own way. So one thing they can do, just this morning, we put out a new letter campaign with Pens for Swords, who's an incredible force of letter writing, really targeted at both the CEO of Sephora along with other officials. I think it's very important to note that the CEO of Sephora North America is Iranian herself. Artemis Patrick. So I think this is huge. And from what I have seen, her family worked, I believe her father was a pilot for the Shah. So she has a vested interest in ensuring that Huda does not have a line with Sephora anymore. So when you say, what can we do? Now's the time to strike and demand that Sephora drop Huda Beauty. We've been saying it, but now they have to drop. And if not, there should be a worldwide boycott of Sephora until that's done. B, on lower hanging fruit, we can get activists everywhere, moms, their teenagers that are late to the party, taking their Huda products back to Sephora and demanding a refund.
Agreed.
Because look, it's our version of a product
Michelle,
recall.
I remember that I thought that I had heard somewhere back in September that they did take her product off. And then I remember I went to a Sephora and I called you from there because I had a huge basket, 2 daughters, myself, I had a huge basket. And I called you and I said, Michelle, wait a minute. I thought that the stuff was off the shelves. And here it is. And it hasn't been moved.
It was a little bit.
And I literally put my basket down and I left.
Good for you that you left. So that's it. I think what happened is there was one campaign that they said her face was being taken off of. So we all got the holiday. So we all got very hopeful that meant that she was being X'd overall. Not at all. And just last week, I know that in Los Angeles, banners of her are all over the streets and some new campaign. So she's very platformed right now. So in terms of activism, from our point, there's the letter writing, we're not going to stop. And there's taking those products in, demanding a refund, and videoing yourself doing it. This is activism because we know what social media does now.
So we've been seeing videos all over of people trashing her products, flushing them down the toilet, which is wonderful. And it's putting out a great statement. But also, she still got the money for those products. So like Michelle said, go to Sephora and demand a refund because she still profited off of the product regardless if you're flushing it down. Get your money back.
I think that's a great point. It didn't even cross my mind. But you know what? It's the point. The point is take the product, bring it back to Sephora. So Sephora understands that it is not acceptable, right?
That's
a great point. And open or not, whatever it is.
This is a perfect example, Bali, that we're going to be certain to apply pressure from all angles. So that pressure is on the ground. So that's activists going into the store. The pressure is behind the scenes, making phone calls, whoever has connections to whether it's upper management. Pressure is, frankly, we would love Reza Pahlavi himself to make a call to Artemis Patrick, asking her, Iranian to Iranian, hey, you're pro-democracy. Your father worked with the Shah, worked with us. Do something.
Right.
It's just so logical when you think about it, but these are all different angles of activism that we can take to ensure that democracy flourishes and that a horrific hater like Huda is finally deplatformed.
I would say there are some areas where things are a little gray. I think her video and now her next video, it's black and white. Right? I mean, she's made it very clear who she is. And for us, we have no problem, ever standing up and with the facts, which we have behind us.
Exactly.
And I think it's incredible that you guys do what you do every day. And of course, we will continue to do whatever we can to support you. If there's anything else that you'd like to share before we sign off.
So I've been seeing a lot of people on Instagram the past day, because this just all happened within 24 hours, saying, don't give Huda a platform. Why are we making this such a big deal? Which I understand, but it has to be a big deal because she has such a huge voice. And I think it's so wonderful that finally people are coming out and protesting this and speaking about this. And don't stop. This is a message to everyone. Don't stop. Don't stop standing up for what you believe in and standing out against people who use their voices in such a dangerous way, because it's important to take down these people who spread detrimental messages to millions.
I think that's a great point. And I think actually to that note, what do you say? And Michelle, maybe this is a question for you. What do you say to people that say, well, this doesn't have anything to do with me? When they look at the videos of the tens of thousands of innocent civilians who risk their lives fighting for democracy and, have lost family members.
I think you just segued into a perfect example that I give a lot. When you said this has nothing to do with me, what do we say? What did we say 5 years ago when we were rallying outside of CUNY because CUNY Law platformed Nordine Kiswani, who, as everybody knows now, is the founder of Within Our Lifetime Palestine, who has been, at the forefront of violence against Jews, of these horrific rallies and movements. She was a CUNY Law student who they platformed at graduation. She gave a graduation speech. The thought of that is so horrific. We knew that 5 years ago. We went and we rallied outside CUNY. Do you know how many people said, what does that have to do with me? My kid goes to Princeton and everything's fine. My child goes to Michigan and everything's fine. Until 10/7, everything boiled up above the surface. And those Michigan kids, Princeton kids, Duke kids, all college campuses, nobody was truly fine. So you need to realize when something is wrong, it's wrong, whether it's happening directly to you or it's just wrong for humanity and ensuring that a smaller problem doesn't blow up into a bigger problem. This is the same situation. This has everything to do with us because this fight in Iran for democracy has a ripple effect across the world. This fight against extremism affects all of us. It's a fight that we all need to fight in unity. And that's the only way that we're going to make this happen. And I'll just close with, in terms of Huda, we've said too little, too late in terms of now everybody's wow, and really realizing, how angering and upsetting this is because of what the misstep from yesterday. So look, in a perfect world, what our message to Sephora is, it would have been great to have deplatformed and canceled Huda's products based off of her anti-Semitic rhetoric. But you know what? We'll take it now. Now's the second best time.
It's what we always tell the kids here. It is never too late to do the right thing. So, now it's never too late. And now is the time. Now is the time for Sephora to stand up along with, with the facts and along with us and along with what's right and what's wrong. And that's the bottom line.
That was so perfectly said. And I just want to say a thank you from all of us to all the people around the world who have been speaking out against the regime and, using their voices for the people of Iran who are in a blackout right now with no phone service. They don't have the ability to reach out to their friends and family across the world. And we're their voices right now. And I want to say thank you to these people who are using their voices for them, who they literally don't have a voice right now. And it's very, very important to continue doing that. And I really hope that Sephora will make a statement soon. I actually really do have hope that they will. And I guess only time will tell. We don't have that long.
And I think you're right. Going back to saying that, who are we, we shouldn't get involved. I mean, that's obviously the most absurd thing. I think that's a really important point, and I really appreciate you saying that, Ghazal. We have to be the voice for those who cannot amplify their voices right now. And fortunately, we have you, both of you. We have a few other friends here as well. And we're very, very fortunate that you use your voice for good. And so I can't thank you enough for being here today.
Thank you, Bali.
And I continue to having you back here again, hopefully sooner than later.
Thank you for all your work and the Holocaust.
And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Unmasked, Unfiltered, and Unapologetic. What better title could we possibly ask for? And I appreciate my guests again, Michelle Ahdoot from NGO Hatred and Ghazal Mizrahi, incredible voice. And if you enjoyed exploring the information, history, and stories in today's conversation, be sure to check out our other podcasts here on hmTV. Please subscribe, share, and stay connected for more engaging conversations. Until next time.
Thank you so much.